Cursed dust mites, out with you. I don't have time for your burrowing nonsense this morning unless you'd be asking for a rightful smacking. Now, out you get. Go on, get, shoo. Yeesh. Why do they always have to be a raccoon size? Need me some more repellent. Oh, well, rattle me chainmail. You startled me there. Didn't expect a soul to be in here this early. Unless you be a drunkard who's woken up on this very floor. Haven't had one of those in a month or two. Cleaning up is about as fun as milking a juvenile goat. Say, you don't seem too familiar to me. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can usually recognize a casual patron of my establishment. Ah, that's right. Sorry, I always get so much kerfuffle going on in here that I get a mite forgetful when someone stays the night. You're a passing traveller, right? You just spent the night to cool off before you end up hitting the trail again? Ah, well, glad to see my memory is intact. Means I'm not withering as fast as I thought. But we normally don't get a lot of foreign passerbys around here in Birchwood Village. Aside from a spot of trouble on a blue moon, this village is dead quiet. Unless you're hanging in here during swinging shanty night. Folks can never finish a single song before going unconscious. Oh, you're gonna be heading out already? And hark, without an inch of food in your system? Now, hold on there, mate. If you'd like to pull up a stool, I can stir us up a quick breakfast for the both of us. It'd at least get you up and running before you make tracks again. Unless you plan on hunting yourself some game outside. Hey, speaking of, the dust mites I shoot out sure looked pretty filling, didn't they? It's a light joke, mate. But no fooling. Just pull up a seat and I'll get us started behind the counter here. Oh, mate, now think nothing of it. It's been a while since I've been a bed and breakfast host for very early morning patrons. But, to be frank, I'm just really hungry myself. Alright then, let's see what I got for my inventory. Some fine eggs I got from Draco the other day, ham and sausage links picked from Casanova's, and I still got fresh jars of my homemade applesauce and juice, respectively. Any of that sounding mouth-watering to you, mate? Thought so. It's all coming right up then. So what name do you go by, fair stranger? Ha! Now that's a mighty coincidence right there. Got a cousin that shares your name. They used to have a hobby, listening to records dedicated to fictional tales, tapping noises and mouth sounds. Don't know what's so exciting about all that, but I'm old, what do I know? Anywho, where do you hail from? What's that? No kidding. You? From the Kingdom of Sereth? Well, I'll be damned. Normally anyone that travels out from there hardly bothers coming round here. Certainly got my eyebrows raised, mate. Oh, no, there's nothing weird about the fact. It's just that you live in a part of the land that virtually has everything you could ever need, and just the idea of travelling to a lonesome spot like here is bewildering to me. Again, no offence. But you know what? I don't doubt your reasons for heading down here are far from irregular. We all got to fight our own battles, eh? I just wish you the best of luck for anywhere further you're heading. Ah, taking a ship from Birchwood here? Well, if that's the case, be sure to mention my name to the merchants that travel through those shores. They'll ease up on you real quickly. Oh, Well, of course you got to know my name in order to tell them. Oh, what am I thinking? The name's Selick Everstone. Those fellas and I used to travel often on the sea, back when I first arrived to Birchwood, in fact. What's my story? Well, I came here to Birchwood from Searless Island about 3 decades ago. I come from a little-known farming family. Though, honestly, farm work wasn't exactly my forte, and I always was hoping to break away from family traditions as old as time itself. Eventually, I found like I could finally make a move for myself, and left home to see the world and get myself into some real trouble. At least, that's what I'd like to call it. Why? Because adventure called to me, mate. It really sparks something in you. And at some point, I just had to take that call. At the time, it was like a surge, like a loud voice saying, "Hey, you two-toed sloth, sitting there all your life, are you? There's so much world out there than right here. Get a move on and stop slouching." I hardly regret hearing that stern voice since. A lot like my mother. Rest in peace, her soul. Oh, ain't nothing, mate. I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, after settling in here for a good while, I eventually became an apprentice to this very tavern, and shortly after, the owner, after the original owner passed away. Humble beginnings those were. Yes, sir, I've lived as I've retained a tale or two in this region, but I'm not here to bore you over them. You're just here for brekkie, after all. Aye, speaking of, I think everything's all done here. Just gotta dish up a bit here and we're set. Eh? Oh, well, I mean, if you insist. I don't normally get total strangers asking for me to tell them an unrated story from weary old me, but I may as well, if you're really willing. Alright, and here we are. Just sit yourself a plate here, and I've got mine on this end here. Alrighty. Well, if you need any more spices on these, do let me know. Otherwise, stuff your gob, mate. I sure will. Oh, ain't they though? These eggs, are popped right out of local hens that are fed by specialty seeds we cultivate down here. Draco is a great man working in the hen house. Really knows how to raise them. Ooh, Casanova's meats are quite swell too, I agree. Tough hunter, long time hero around these parts. Used to always getting scrapes, that one. Great man, great man. Oh? What makes him a hero? Oh, well, it actually coincides with a little tale I know by coincidence. Let's see if I can recollect. Right. Now, it's been a good while since he's really shown off his prowess, but about 20 or so years back, we had this very unfortunate run-in with packs of vampires, taking villagers' lives in the night for months on end. They were incredibly crafty, and we had lost a lot of good folk at that time. Some including, Casanova's family. He lost his wife and father, only had his little boy to defend, and he wasn't wanting any harm to lay on the only thing that he had left. Eventually, he organised a plan to pull off on the vampires, to attract them in one place and take every one of them out. We were to give word that we were having a grand trip to leave the village and head for the shore to celebrate a made-up holiday at the time, which later became a real one after that night. The Conquestors' Day, that's the one. Anyways, the risks were pretty high, what with bringing all of our cattle and villagers out in the open, terrible night, not knowing how things would go down. But Casanova was crafty.
He'd been readying for this for ages. Commissioned vampire hunting gear from regions far off for nearly every single villager down there for almost everything he had. And when the night finally came, well, to make a long story short, a bloodbath of sorts ensued, with the village gradually winning in the end. But Casanova during that fight was just gruesome poetry in motion. Never had I seen a man more bloodthirsty than a vampire. His pain translated into the slaughtering of each one that he could get his mitts on. You can't replicate an experience like that one can agree. He'd only let one of them live, but while it was bleeding out, I remember what he told him before letting him go. And he said, and I quote, "Lest you have other night terrors roaming outside these walls, I pray you have the strength to live your last few moments regretting what you have surfaced over near defenseless people. Your kind will never return here again." You're telling me. Intensity was his middle name. I certainly helped a fair amount with suiting everyone up and grappled a vampire or two, but wasn't nearly as brave or ready as Casanova was, I guarantee you. Oh, he's doing A-okay these days. He remarried, has raised his son and becoming a fine young gent, continues to hunt down some excellent game, and, believe it or not, is one of the most dedicated parcel stamp collectors I've ever known, and that's not something you'd associate when you're skinning boars for a living. It's a great hobby, who am I kidding? I'm glad he's kept himself busy after all this time. Even so, after that night, those vampires, I can't help but feel a little regretful for creatures like that. Not that I'm picking sides here, but I just feel a little pitiful for him. I mean, vampires got to do what they got to do, but so did we. They're isolated beings, most of them living in caves or emptied fields, for God's sake. Being attacked or shunned the moment they're seen can most likely be frustrating. Some retrospectively can actually think and speak like us, but it's in their nature to just kill innocents on a whim. Now, I ain't saying that we're any better than them, but I just wish there was some form of understanding between us. Same could be said for a lot of creatures out there. What a world, eh? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to ramble like that, mate. Just laying out my opinions for the air to carry. Well, it's looking like we're nearly finished up here. One more quick tale should suffice, eh? What would you like to hear? My first run-in with adventure? Getting in early, are we? Nah, mate, I don't mind telling you about my first little obstacle. Though, this was featuring little inexperienced me, so don't be expecting much. Right, so, there I was, travelling out in the open sea for the first time after leaving home. Surrounding me on a trader ship was the stench of fish in the ocean salt. The fish smell coming from the crew on board, obviously. And I was solely content with what my future was to hold for me, glancing out there in that bright blue beauty. I could only start heading up from there on out. But nothing mentally prepared me for a soul-sucking sea titan ambushing us about 3 hours in. Oh no, but it gets crazier, mate. See, we weren't supposed to be out there to begin with. We took a detour in between some wee little isles just to find us some island fruit as a pit stop. Once we got there, we were preparing to get off board. But the ocean below us shook. We were thrown off balance as we heard the sea splitting off the bow of the ship. Right then, the Titan rose up from the surface, reaching heights as tall as a military-grade watchtower. The moment it rose up and opened its eyes, the sunlight gleamed directly into him, immediately sending the beast into a fit of blinded rage. Now, as you may already know, sea titans can't handle direct sunlight in their eyes, the fragile little babes. They're nocturnal things, so why it came up at us in the dead of day is still beyond me, mate. Anyhow, the titan starts thrashing and nearly sends damage to the ship, right? This rightfully gets the crew in a defensive state of mind, eh? They start throwing spears and firing crossbows at it, and there I was, losing my mind, eh? When you're thrown into a grease fire situation out of damn nowhere, what would you do? Shortly, the Titans got real fed up with the assailants taking advantage of his loss of vision, eh? Right then, it lurches its head towards us on the port bow of the ship and bellowed this terrible, ghostly screech. It brought in these hollow and cold winds that pushed against everyone's backs, weakening the crew. Me on the starboard end of the ship was just in shock and awe, seeing the souls of the crew pulling away from their flesh and bone slowly towards the beast's mouth. I was between a rock and a hard place, ain't I? And I was to save everyone's skins, but how? Then, thankfully, the beautiful power that was convenience guided me to a surefire victory. No, I'm serious. Now hear this. A fight or flight moment occurred right then. I had a pint of holy water in my hand that I was supposed to be meaning to put in storage, and a barrel of lighter fluid that was across from me. The ship started to lean towards the Titan. I had no time to lose. I lurched over to the barrel to stop it from rolling away too soon, creaked that sucker open and tossed the holy water in. And then I pulled a match from my pocket, lit it and threw it in as well, and quickly let go before I got flamed up myself. It rolled into a fiery frenzy straight into the Titan's maw. It rose its head in confusion, and then it suffered. And boy, did it suffer. Having the holy water blow up from the fire and lighten up beautifully in the Titan's sickly throat. It was like a firework, mate, but much more grisly. That hellspawn was screaming like crazy. It was nearly unbearable. And then it ended up slinking back into the ocean faster than I can comprehend. I watched the souls of those men fly back directly to their mortal selves, and they each woke up, nearly gasping for air. The crew eventually gathered themselves and headed over the front of the ship, just gawking at the horrible sight that had left the surface. The crew and I gathered our bearings and sat down in silence after we began setting sail again. We sat there, the air lingering with nae sound. Then I started laughing, really taking in what just happened to the lot of us, and just laughed. And shortly after, the crew did so too. We all stood up and chortled up a hearty chortle, getting back to our cheery selves and keeping in mind that we had an unbelievable story to tell once we hit our next stop to port. And knowing right then and there that the unexpected is gonna come at me without warning. But when it do, I'ma be the one to take it like a champ. The life of an adventurer, I tell you what. Oh, okay, I may have fibbed in saying you shouldn't expect much from younger me, but I just wanted to see the look of your little face. But since that day, I personally haven't heard any direct warnings and sightings of that Titan. I may have damaged his throat, but that don't mean he can't find some other way to sap a soul or two. The undersea caverns between those isles are supposedly his home, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's been sneaking around other shorelines to pluck some innocents and take 'em home. At least, that'd be my thesis. If it's hard for you to believe, I don't blame you. You believe every word I've said? Well, mate, I hate to think that you'd be the gullible type, but I'm glad you're the type that believes me regardless. Oh, well, no, mate. Thank you for letting me humour you with my tales. glad they perked you up a bit. Well, that was pretty filling, weren't it? Alright, go on and gather your things. I'll worry about putting these away. Nah, mate. I'm glad to be serviceable this fine morning. I mean, it's literally my job, mind you. You're welcome down here any time if you plan on coming round here once more. If you're churtling those seas, be sure to steer clear of those isles I spoke of. Suppose the Titan really isn't too active. I still don't want you to be risking your own life out there. What? You actually have business down there? Well, mate, I mean, can't say that this ain't ironic in the slightest. But hey, don't let me parent you about it. You have a reason to be out there, so I'm not gonna pull you away from it. Well, best of luck out there, mate. Hope you find what you're looking for. Right, let's head out the door right down here. Alrighty then. Take care. Bring a souvenir back, will ya? An eyeball from that Titan would do, wouldn't it? No, don't be taking it literally now. Just watch over yourself. Right, rightio. Farewell, friend. Farewell. Oh, come on now. Don't be so down in the muck thinking about it. They'll be fine. They'll be just fine. Figure their intent is pretty significant to be there, but still. What the... Dust mites got in again? Should have asked if they had a beer trip or two.
Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. Just to point out, if it wasn't obvious for any reason, what you just heard is attached to one of my previous roleplay videos. This video, and several others, will be part of a connected world with different locations and characters sharing their experiences with you. Some more linked than others. It'll be fun to see how far I can go with this, but I do hope you enjoyed what you've heard regardless. But once again, thank you all so much for spending a little time here, and I wish you either a bright day or a cozy night.